You think this hat? That looks like a mushroom.
That's my hat.
How are you supposed to wear this thing?
Like you're a painter and you're a Pascal in France.
But I have a condom on my head.
That was a gift.
Oh, well, no.
From someone that probably watches our videos.
And this hat's pretty cool because it was handmade, but it looks like...
And I know the podcast people can't see, but this is like, someone told him he looked homeless this week.
Thanks.
Yeah.
One of my best friends said I look homeless.
You're a
That's
little,
great.
little scruffy there. You're beyond scruffy. What are you doing? Are you going full on? Are you just waiting, just not too sure? Okay.
Okay, so okay. This is the longest I have never ever shaved ever.
Longest I have never.
This is yeah.
Yeah.
So, for you listening on the podcast,
it's 16.
It's all the way down to my knees. No, my facial hair, not the other thing you're thinking of. Yeah,
okay.
baby.
All right. So let's get to it. We're going to talk about what are we at?
We're at 240, and this will be the last one before we get into sexy time stuff.
Woo! 300s. We're going to put a lot in there. That's what we talk about.
That's what she said. I put a lot in it. All right.
Wow.
Okay. So
there, you can be in more.
This is the last very, very important practical thing that you need to do for your marriage. This is actually really important, and we were having this conversation before we started. And I've been thinking about it all day, and this is an exercise that we have done, and this is also an exercise that we have done with a licensed counselor. So you should do this exercise because we paid for you to do it. Kind of think about that way?
It's really good. It might sound cheesy at first, but it's good.
Okay,
Trust
so
us.
Here are the steps for this thing to drastically change your marriage. And 3 steps. Number 1.
I don't know.
She's like, 3? I had 16. Number 1, I want you to close your eyes and think about your perfect marriage. She's thinking of Alexander Skarsgård.
I don't want to be married to him.
Thor.
I don't want to be
Chris Pratt. I can give you the list.
Chris Pratt.
No. She's like, yeah, totally. I can be married.
No, I don't want to be married to these people.
So,
I want to be married to you.
Your perfect marriage with the person you married.
Right.
not with
the
Hollywood star you don't want to be married to them anyways. Okay. So we're not talking about a list.
We're not talking about fantasy. That will be discussed in the 300s.
I'm not Chandler where you're like, I have a laminated list. All right. So
and Monica.
So with your spouse, what is the ideal version of your marriage? Is it, from a male's perspective, is it sex every day? But once you get beyond the whole...
What am I looking for in the perfect wife?
Get beyond the whole...
what do you want for your marriage?
Facetious stuff.
What do you want in 50 years from
in
your marriage?
Long
what
term,
do you want that to look
what
like?
What does your marriage look like? So you don't get a divorce, you're married for 30 years.
What does that look like?
What does that 30-year look like versus what does it look like today?
Yeah.
And
this is.
And I really want you to think about that.
I mean, people use that hashtag marriage goals all the time. Okay, is that the goal?
Yeah.
That's your goal.
But a lot of those marriage goals are just them getting fit. That's not a...
No. You're looking at the wrong thing because you're always on looking up fit stuff. No, I'm talking about, these little old couples that share playing the piano at the same time. Oh, marriage goals. Do you know what? They've been through some crap in their marriage.
Yes.
I guarantee it.
They've stepped in it.
They've stepped in it deep. Knee deep sometimes.
Knee deep in the booster.
And got to the other side.
Right.
And that doesn't happen by just being, we're just married 30 years and go through life.
My husband is my best friend.
And everything, which it should be.
But it involves a conversation and it involves goals. So this is marriage goal setting. So number 1, think about what you want your marriage to be. Today, in 5 years, in 10 years from now.
Be practical with that. Seriously,
be very practical. Hey, if it's in 5 years, none of us had an affair. That's great.
That's a great goal.
If it's 7 years, none of us had an affair. Great. If it's 10 years, we have kids and we have sex twice a week. Great. Those are all kind of, we get along. We enjoy spending time with one another. We're dating.
Once a year.
All of that kind of... Those are my goals as a couple, rather than looking at the 80-year-old people playing a piano together.
How did they get there?
Looking at them as unattainable versus looking at something 10 years from now as completely obtainable.
Yes.
And the fact that you're just setting the goal. Yeah. So now that you have the idea of what your marriage looks like, what's step 2?
Well, step 2, I think, is how to get there. It's the journey.
Yeah.
What have you guys decided? And it doesn't have to be this long, drawn-out process. We have
Yes,
ours.
it does.
We have ours. I leave it on my desktop of my computer at all times so that we know what it is. I refer to it a lot.
I have mine tattooed on my back.
It's called the journey. No. It's called the journey. What's going to get you to not having an affair in 5 years, 7 years, 10 years? Well, it's paying attention to one another's needs and constantly changing and evolving to those things.
And dating one another, falling in love over and over again with one another, falling in love with the process.
Yeah, affair-proofing your marriage, that you're not spending time with someone of the opposite sex. You're not confiding in them. You're not...
You're always sharing your location on your phone.
Yeah, stuff just really simple.
Everyone knows everyone's password. That was the thing with us this week. She asked me for my Gmail password, and I ran downstairs, and she looked at me like, "You're not going to tell me? What's up?" I just didn't want the kids to hear because we use that password for their devices to lock them out. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
And then the third part is the byproduct of what you've set in motion. Really?
No, I'm joking.
Wow.
She believed it. No.
The byproduct of what you set in motion really has lingering effects. It's like, throwing a bunch of pebbles into the water, how they ripple effect. And that's what causes your it kind of goes all the way back to the beginning of step 1 of what your goal is. So let me give you our practical ones that we've really thought through this.
Yeah, she really thought through these.
Well,
yeah,
no, we both did a long time ago. But we went
through, I
did a really, really long thing. And Tim's like, this is like, and our counselor like, this is very flowery. It's not practical. What does this mean? What are you going to get with? And he's like, I just want her to love me and have sex with me. Okay, let's find somewhere in the middle.
That's really practical. Just love me and touch me.
But love you.
Sexually.
See? How? So here's ours.
Sexually.
I want to tell you ours. Here's ours. Our goal. Number 1, what do we want out of our marriage? Here's really what we want out of our marriage. To have a positive marriage that leaves a godly legacy for our kids and our grandkids. We want nothing more than to know that our children are walking in God's truth and are happy, creating successful families of their own. We're Christians. That's what we want, to have our children to be happy and successful and to love Jesus. That is our biggest thing.
And has that changed?
That's really our goal.
And how long ago did we write that down?
We probably wrote that 5 years ago.
Right. And has it changed since then? Mm-hmm. A little bit.
But you can tweak as you go.
And I would add, literally, I'm training my kids to be an adult at graduation.
Yeah.
Instead
of
after graduation. I don't want them living in our house. I don't want them living in our house until they're 30, unless they're trying to start a business, and we will have that conversation. But yeah, they're not going to live at home and be a millennial. They're not going to. Like, you know what I mean?
It's a bad
no,
term.
It's not. But I'm not going to give them an excuse to not grow up. I'm going to push them and look. You're going to go to college, and you're going to start making choices without me. If I have to trust you with that, then I should be able to trust you with all of the adult decisions. Once you're 18, you're tried as an adult.
Yeah.
So I'm going to treat you as an adult.
So then we put our step 2 is how to get there. We called it the journey.
Yeah.
1, accepting failure as a way to grow and learn rather than a condemnation or mistake.
Because I fail a lot.
Make mistakes.
All the time.
And it can be very...
I did today.
It can be frustrating. You did?
Yep.
What was up with that?
Why'd you yell at Caleb for 20 minutes? Oh, wait, no, that was making him an adult.
Number 2, be quick to forgive and listen, and slow to speak and slow to anger. Bob that right off your head. And then 3, an evolving level of intimacy, able to adapt and change to different seasons in our lives.
I added evolving. Because that's really fun when it's evolving.
And it can evolve backwards, it can evolve forwards.
It cannot de-evolve.
No, what I'm saying
we cannot
is...
become...
You know what I'm saying. There are different seasons in your life where you have sex more, you're intimate more, and you are intimate less for certain reasons or
medical
whatever.
reasons.
There's other reasons, but it's just changes and seasons.
And that's how your intimacy has to evolve to cover the reasons where you can't just be physical. And again, we've said this a billion times, and I'll say it again. Yeah. Sex is not intimacy. Sex is the byproduct of intimacy. Yep. And once you start getting that wrapped around your head, and you want more intimacy, then you have to know what intimacy really is. And that's why we do the 7 Days of Sex Challenge. It's mostly a thing to discover that intimacy is not sex, that it is everything else before sex.
And then our byproducts. Because we do those 3 things. This is very simple, very tangible, very direct. We provide a safe home for friends and family. Our kids, their friends, our family, and extended family, safe physically, emotionally, and spiritually. I know some of our neighbors we hear you yelling. Yep, we yell. Because, we have 4 of us in this house.
We yell a lot.
You know what?
And sometimes it's dirty.
We still really... We still really love each other, and we do listen. And, I feel like it's physically and emotionally safe.
And I will say the same thing, and I will praise Tammy for this. The creation of a safe house is really, really important to me, and she does this very well. And the fact that a lot of you all had homecoming this last week or the week before, and all of our kids' friends came over and wanted Tammy to take a picture of them, which was, they're not our kids. It was really kind of cool that our house was that safe, that we are a refuge for them to come to and go, oh yeah, Tim and Tammy's been my other parents for most of my life, and they need to take pictures and celebrate with me as well.
That was really cool.
That's really awesome. If you're the house that all of the kids come to, you are the safe house.
Okay. The last one, relationship integrity. We want to be the same publicly as we are privately. We are kind to each other in public as well as in private.
Sex.
We are caring outside as well as behind closed doors. And that really is us. I mean, our friends know that we've snapped at each other. We've gotten irritated with each other in front of them because we feel safe with them. I mean, I'm not going to yell at them in Walmart, even though I probably have.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do know couples that they put on a huge front in front of everyone else. Behind closed doors, they are abusive, they are mean, they are hurtful and cruel to each other. I never want to be that. I don't want to be that. I mean, it's not like I want to be cruel out in public either, but I don't want to be two-faced.
That's so fun. You're missing things. Okay, so this is going long, and we're going to go back to step 1. So what are you doing step 1?
Step 1, what is your goal for your life? Look at like he said, 5 years, 10 years, 50 years. Where do you want your marriage to be?
Start
and then work backwards. How
with
do
5.
we get there?
Just start with 5 years from now, I want my marriage to be better, and this is how I get there. What's 2?
2 is write some practical ways. How do we get there? How do we make that journey? What do we change right now or today? Because are we on the path today where we want to go in 5 years?
How is my behavior today going to be reflected in the future?
Yeah, and if it's not, if you're like, okay, us today will have us divorced in 5 years. Well, then what can you do to change?
It's time to change some stuff, man.
Yeah.
All right, step 3.
Step 3, what are some byproducts that you're going to okay, if we turn around and we start date night every night, what's that going to do? It's going to show our kids that we now take priority in each other.
We may be broke.
That's not a good byproduct. You can date without breaking the budget. Oh my gosh, this has gone way longer than our 10 minutes.
No, it's totally fine because this is really important. What we've done is if you do these things and talk them out, you should be able to write exactly what we wrote. The byproduct is we wanted a safe home. The other byproduct that we wanted was relationship integrity. That was really important to us, and this is our marriage. And that's the whole thing that you are going to define, is you're going to define your marriage, which it is your marriage, not anyone else's. So stop comparing your marriage to somebody else.
Yeah, your parents,
it's
your
your
friends,
marriage.
your siblings.
And nobody else should tell you that their marriage should be your marriage.
Right.
It's yours. This is the thing that you create on your own that has nothing to do with anyone else. And the success or the failure is you.
Yep.
No one else. You can't blame society. You can only blame yourself.
Yep. Can't blame social media.
Wow. Okay. Let's stop preaching. All right.
Wow.
So you can kind of find us everywhere. You can find us on Apple Podcasts.
Wherever you get your podcasts.
Oh, wherever. Just Apple Podcasts, not wherever. Instagram and
Twitter.
Facebook. And Twitter. I'm trying to get them all. I don't think I did the podcast last week yet. So, and YouTube.
Yeah, he's amazing. He is working
I'm really
hard
trying.
with us.
All right.
So somebody better be watching these videos.
Yeah. And look, share them. Help us out. Share. We just really care about marriage. We do this for free. Not that I'm begging you. I'm not begging for money. I just really want people to have really successful marriages because that's the really most important thing.
It is.
If we could save one marriage.
Really, why would we be doing this?
Yeah.
It's
just saving a marriage really
works.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
We're not amazing.
I need my retro video game collection needs to be upgraded. No. We really care about your marriages and we love you. And so we want to make your marriages stronger. And if you know someone that needs help, please share the video. You can DM us and we'll have coaching conversations with you for free. That's what we're here for. All right. Love you. Late.